The day the world changed started like any other. People went about their daily lives, unaware that high above them, in secret government facilities around the globe, a plan was being set in motion that would alter the course of human history forever. It began with a message, a signal from deep space, picked up by radio telescopes scattered across Earth. At first, scientists thought it was just another burst of cosmic noise. But as they analyzed the data, a chilling realization dawned on them. The signal was artificial, and it was headed straight for Earth. World leaders were quickly informed. Emergency meetings were called. For the first time in human history, every nation on Earth agreed on one thing: they needed to prepare for what was coming. In the following weeks, strange things started happening. Military bases around the world buzzed with activity. New satellites were launched into orbit at an unprecedented rate. And in every major city, construction began on massive dome-like structures whose purpose remained a mystery to the public. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some said it was preparation for a natural disaster. Others claimed it was a global conspiracy. But no one could have guessed the truth. 3 months after the signal was detected, the world's leaders made a joint announcement that shook humanity to its core. "We are not alone," they said, "and we may soon be at war." The news hit like a tidal wave. Panic swept across the globe. But as the initial shock wore off, something unexpected happened. Instead of falling into chaos, humanity united. The threat of an alien invasion had done what centuries of diplomacy could not. It had brought the world together. The Global Defense Initiative, GDI, was formed. Every country pooled its resources, its brightest minds, and its most advanced technology. The goal was simple: prepare Earth for the coming storm. Scientists and engineers worked around the clock, pushing the boundaries of human knowledge. They developed weapons that could punch holes in spacecraft, shields that could withstand the heat of 1,000 suns, and communication systems that could coordinate a global defense network in real time. The mysterious domes in the cities were revealed to be shelters, capable of housing millions and withstanding any attack. Underground bunkers were built, stocked with enough supplies to last for years. Every adult was given basic military training, taught how to use the new weapons and survive in a post-invasion world. But the most impressive developments happened in secret. Deep beneath the Earth's surface, in heavily guarded facilities, scientists worked on projects that seemed like science fiction. Gravity manipulation, faster than light travel, even the ability to harness the power of stars. Nothing was off limits if it could help humanity survive. As months turned into years, Earth transformed. The once divided planet became a fortress, bristling with defenses and humming with technology beyond anything seen before. Satellites and space stations formed a protective web around the planet, ready to detect and intercept any threat. Through it all, humanity waited. They trained, they prepared, they watched the skies. Children grew up learning about alien biology alongside Earth history. University students developed new battle strategies and weapon designs for their final projects. Every day, people woke up wondering if this would be the day the aliens arrived. But deep down, a change had taken place in the human spirit. The fear that had gripped them when the news first broke had been replaced by something else. Determination, readiness, even excitement. Humanity had looked into the face of an existential threat and not blinked. They had taken their fear and turned it into strength. They had united, not just as nations, but as a species. As General Sarah Chen, the leader of GDI, said in a speech on the 5th anniversary of the announcement, "We didn't ask for this fight. We didn't start it. But by all that is holy, we will finish it. Let them come. Humanity is ready." And so they waited, a species transformed, a planet fortified, sending out a silent message to the stars. We are humanity. We are ready. And we are waiting. The day humanity had been preparing for finally arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning. At first, it seemed like any other day. But high above the Earth, in the secret orbital command center of the Global Defense Initiative, GDI, alarms began to blare. Unidentified object entering solar system, announced the AI system. Size and speed match predictions for alien scout ship. General Sarah Chen, commander of GDI, sprung into action. Alert all stations, she ordered. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. Within minutes, the entire planet was on high alert. People rushed to their assigned shelters, just as they had practiced countless times before. Soldiers manned their posts, fingers hovering over triggers of weapons that had never been used in real combat. As the alien ship approached Earth, humanity held its breath. Would the aliens attack immediately? Would they try to communicate? The answer came sooner than expected. The scout ship, a sleek, silver craft about the size of a large airplane, bypassed all the outer defenses and headed straight for the planet's surface. It landed in an open field in Central Australia, chosen years ago as the designated first contact site. GDI forces surrounded the area within minutes. Tanks, aircraft, and infantry units took up positions, their advanced weapons trained on the alien craft. Among them was Private Jack Thompson, a young soldier who had spent his entire adult life training for this moment. "Stay calm," Jack muttered to himself, gripping his plasma rifle tightly. "We've prepared for this." For several tense minutes, nothing happened. Then, with a soft hiss, a door opened in the side of the alien ship. A tall, slender figure emerged, its body covered in what looked like shimmering scales. It had 4 arms and a large, bulbous head with 3 eyes arranged in a triangle. The alien raised its upper set of arms, palms outward, in what seemed to be a universal gesture of peace. Then, to everyone's shock, it spoke in perfect English. "Greetings, humans," it said, its voice oddly melodious. "We come in peace." General Chen stepped forward, her face a mask of calm determination. "Welcome to Earth," she replied. "We've been expecting you." The alien seemed taken aback by this response. It blinked its 3 eyes rapidly, a gesture that humans would later learn indicated surprise. "You knew we were coming?" it asked. "We detected your signal years ago," Chen explained. "We've been preparing ever since." The alien's surprise seemed to deepen. "Preparing? But how? Our technology is far beyond yours. Our scans showed your civilization was barely capable of interplanetary travel." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "You'd be surprised what humanity can accomplish when we work together." As if to emphasize her point, a squadron of Earth's newest fighter jets soared overhead, their anti-gravity engines allowing them to hover in place with ease. The alien watched them with what looked like a mixture of awe and concern. "Perhaps," Chen continued, "we should continue this conversation in a more comfortable setting. We have many questions for you, as I'm sure you have for us." The alien agreed, and a historic meeting began. Over the next few hours, humanity learned about the vast interstellar empire the aliens represented. They called themselves the Zarkol, and they had been observing Earth for centuries. But as the conversation progressed, it became clear that the Zarkol had severely underestimated humanity. They had expected to find a primitive species, easy to conquer or subjugate. Instead, they found a united planet bristling with defenses and technology that rivaled, and in some cases surpassed their own. As night fell, the alien scout returned to its ship, promising to relay the situation to its superiors. The message was clear: Earth would not be an easy target. After the ship departed, General Chen addressed the world. "Today we faced our first test," she said, "and we passed with flying colors. We showed the aliens that humanity is not to be trifled with. But this is just the beginning. They will return, and in greater numbers. Stay vigilant. Stay united. For we are humanity, and we will prevail." As her words echoed around the globe, a new sense of pride and determination swept through the human race. They had stood toe-to-toe with an advanced alien species and held their ground. Whatever came next, they would face it together. The battle for Earth's future had begun. In the days following the first contact, Earth buzzed with activity. Scientists pored over the data gathered from the alien encounter, while military strategists updated their plans based on what they had learned about the Zarkol. But General Sarah Chen knew they couldn't just sit and wait for the aliens' next move. It was time for humanity to send a message of its own. We need to show them we're not just capable of defending ourselves, she told the United Earth Council. We need to prove we can reach out and touch them, even in deep space. The Council agreed, and Project Starfall was born. For weeks, the best minds on Earth worked tirelessly. They combined human ingenuity with reverse-engineered alien tech from the scout ship. Finally, they unveiled their creation, the Hyperion, Earth's first faster-than-light communication device. On a crisp autumn morning, Chen stood before a sea of reporters from every nation on Earth. Behind her loomed the massive dish of the Hyperion, pointing skyward like a giant metal flower. Today, she announced, her voice firm and clear, we send our message to the stars, to the Zarkol, and any other species watching. Humanity will not be conquered. We will not be colonized. We are ready, and we are waiting. With a nod from Chen, technicians activated the Hyperion. The dish hummed to life, glowing with an eerie blue light. Then, with a crack like thunder, it sent humanity's message hurtling through space at impossible speeds. The message was simple but powerful. It began with mathematical equations, proving humanity's scientific understanding. Then came a series of images, Earth's military might, its united peoples, its advanced technology. Finally, there was a speech, broadcast in the Zarkol language. We are humanity. Chen's voice rang out across the cosmos. We have seen your kind before, in our stories and our nightmares. We have prepared for this day for generations. You may have traveled far, but we have home field advantage. Every mountain, every ocean, every city on this planet is ready to defeat you. Her voice grew stronger, filled with the determination of the entire human race. We do not want war. We are open to peaceful cooperation. But make no mistake, if you come to conquer, you will fail. If you come to enslave, you will fall. We are humanity. We are ready. And we are waiting. The message ended with a demonstration of Earth's power. The Hyperion fired again, this time sending a concentrated energy beam that harmlessly passed through a nearby asteroid, leaving a perfect, smoldering hole. As the echoes of the transmission faded, a tense silence fell over the planet. What would the aliens' response be? Days passed with no sign, then weeks. The silence from space was deafening. Life on Earth continued, but with a constant undercurrent of anticipation. Every unexpected noise, every flicker of light in the night sky, made people look up in wonder and fear. It was Private Jack Thompson who first noticed something was wrong. During a routine patrol of the Australian outback, he spotted a shimmer in the air, like a heat haze. But it was the middle of the night, and the air was cool. "Command, this is Patrol Unit 7, he radioed in. "I'm seeing some kind of distortion out here. Request immediate backup and analysis." Within minutes, GDI sensors across the globe lit up. The distortions Jack had seen were everywhere, in the skies, in the oceans, even in orbit. It took only moments for the truth to become clear. The Zarkol had already arrived. Their ships, hidden by advanced cloaking technology, surrounded the Earth. As alarms blared and people rushed to battle stations, General Chen's voice came over the global broadcast system. "This is not a drill," she said, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "The Zarkol are here. But remember, we are ready. We've trained for this. Stand your ground. Protect each other. Show them what humanity is made of." Across the planet, soldiers like Jack gripped their weapons tightly. In hidden bunkers, scientists and engineers prepared to deploy technologies the world had never seen. And in homes and shelters everywhere, ordinary people steeled themselves for what was to come. The battle for Earth was about to begin. But thanks to their years of preparation, Humanity was ready to face whatever the Zarkol had in store. The final test of humanity's resolve had arrived. The sky erupted in a dazzling light show as the Zarkol ships dropped their cloaking devices. Massive vessels, each the size of a small city, appeared above every major population center on Earth. The alien invasion had begun. But humanity was ready. As soon as the ships appeared, Earth's defense systems sprang to life. Satellite-based laser cannons fired precise beams of energy, striking the Zarkol ships with pinpoint accuracy. Anti-gravity fighters launched from hidden bases, swarming around the alien vessels like angry hornets. In the command center of the Global Defense Initiative, General Sarah Chen watched the battle unfold on a massive holographic display. "Status report," she demanded. "Our first strike has damaged several of their ships," a young lieutenant replied. "But their shields are adapting. We're having trouble penetrating them now." Chen nodded grimly. They had expected this. "Initiate Phase 2, she ordered. Across the globe, hidden silos opened in the earth. Massive railguns, each the length of a skyscraper, rose from the ground. With a thunderous roar, they began firing projectiles at incredible speeds, their kinetic energy enough to punch through the aliens' adaptive shields. In Australia, Private Jack Thompson manned one of these railguns. As he lined up a shot on a Zarkol ship hovering over Sydney, he couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. This was what they had trained for. This was humanity's moment. "Fire in the hole," he shouted, pulling the trigger. The railgun bucked with recoil as it launched its projectile. Jack watched with satisfaction as it struck the alien ship, leaving a gaping hole in its hull. But the Zarkol weren't going down without a fight. From their ships, swarms of smaller craft descended, raining energy bolts on Earth's cities. The protective domes that had been built years ago now proved their worth, shimmering as they deflected the alien attacks. Inside these domes, civilians huddled in shelters, watching the battle on view screens. Among them was Dr. Emily Sato, one of the lead scientists behind Earth's technological advancements. As she watched the footage, her mind raced with ideas for improvements to their defenses. "We need to adapt faster than they can," she muttered, furiously scribbling notes. "If we can predict their shield frequencies." Suddenly, the ground shook violently. A Zarkol ship had managed to breach the defenses and was attempting to land in the heart of New York City. But as its landing gear touched the ground, something unexpected happened. The street beneath the ship suddenly liquefied, turning into a quicksand-like substance. The massive alien vessel began to sink, its engines whining as it struggled to escape. "Nanite defense system is working perfectly," Chen said with a grim smile. Another of humanity's secret weapons revealed. As the battle raged on, it became clear that the Zarkol had underestimated humanity's capabilities. Their initial shock at Earth's resistance turned to frustration, then to desperation. In orbit, the space battle was just as fierce. Earth's space fleet, hidden on the far side of the moon, had taken the Zarkol by surprise. Led by Admiral Jenna Cruz, the human ships darted between the lumbering alien vessels, their advanced maneuvering systems allowing them to dodge energy beams and missiles with ease. "Target their propulsion systems," Cruz ordered. "Let's see how well they fight when they can't move." Hour after hour, the battle continued. Both sides took heavy losses, but humanity's home field advantage began to tell. The Zarkol, unused to prolonged conflict, found their supplies dwindling. Their coordinated attack began to fragment as individual ship captains made desperate decisions. As the first day of battle drew to a close, the Zarkol fleet was in disarray. Several of their largest ships had been destroyed or disabled, and the rest were pulling back, regrouping at the edge of the solar system. In the GDI command center, a cheer went up as the holographic display showed the aliens retreating. But General Chen remained focused. "This isn't over," she warned. "They'll be back, and in greater numbers. We've won the battle, but the war is far from over." As if to punctuate her words, a transmission came through on the Hyperion device. It was from the Zarkol fleet. Humans, a gravelly voice said, "You have surprised us, but do not celebrate yet. This is only the beginning." The message ended, leaving a tense silence in its wake. Humanity had stood its ground, but the true test was yet to come. The Zarkol would return, and Earth would need every ounce of its newfound strength to survive what was coming next. In the days following the first battle, an uneasy calm settled over Earth. The Zarkol fleet hovered at the edge of the solar system, a constant reminder of the threat looming over humanity. But for now, the guns were silent. General Sarah Chen stood before the United Earth Council, her uniform crisp despite the exhaustion evident in her eyes. "We've proven we can fight," she said, her voice echoing in the Grand Chamber. "Now we need to prove we can talk." The decision was unanimous. Earth would extend an offer of diplomacy to the Zarkol, but this would be diplomacy backed by strength, not fear. A neutral meeting ground was chosen, the International Space Station, now expanded to house an entire diplomatic corps. As a gesture of good faith, both sides agreed to send unarmed ships to the station. Dr. Emily Sato, the brilliant scientist behind many of Earth's technological advancements, was chosen to lead the human delegation. As she boarded the shuttle to the space station, she couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and trepidation. "Remember," General Chen told her before she left, "they're not just here to talk. They're here to assess our strengths and weaknesses. Every word, every gesture is part of the negotiation." The Zarkol delegation arrived in a sleek, organic-looking ship that seemed to flow through space rather than fly. As they docked with the station, Dr. Sato got her first close look at the aliens outside of combat. The Zarkol ambassador was tall and imposing, its scaled skin shimmering under the station's lights. It had 4 arms, like the scout they had first encountered, but its eyes were a deep, swirling purple that seemed to hold the mysteries of the universe. "Greetings, humans," the ambassador said, its voice a melodious rumble. "I am Zaxlor, emissary of the Zarkol Imperium. We underestimated you, a mistake we do not intend to repeat." Dr. Sato stepped forward, her head held high. "Welcome, Ambassador Zaxlor. I am Dr. Emily Sato, representing Earth. We're glad you've chosen to talk rather than fight. It's a wise decision." The negotiations that followed were intense and complex. The Zarkol, it turned out, were part of a vast galactic empire. They had come to Earth expecting an easy conquest, a new colony to add to their growing list of subjugated worlds. "You must understand," Zaxlor explained, its purple eyes swirling hypnotically. "In our experience, younger races benefit from our guidance. Our rule brings peace, order, and technological advancement." "We appreciate the offer," Dr. Sato replied coolly, "but humanity has chosen to guide itself. We're not opposed to peaceful cooperation, but we will not submit to rule by any outside force." As the talks continued, both sides probed for weaknesses, testing boundaries and seeking advantages. The Zarkol were particularly interested in how humans had advanced so quickly, while the Earth delegation sought information about the wider galaxy and the other races out there. But beneath the diplomatic niceties, tension simmered. Neither side fully trusted the other. The Zarkol couldn't understand why humans would refuse the benefits of their rule, while the humans were wary of the aliens' true intentions. Back on Earth, the world watched and waited. In cities and towns across the globe, people gathered in front of screens, hanging on every word of the reports from the space station. The fate of their planet hung in the balance. In Australia, Private Jack Thompson sat with his fellow soldiers, watching the negotiations. "Do you think they'll really leave us alone?" he asked, his voice tinged with doubt. "Not a chance," his sergeant replied grimly. "This is just the calm before the storm. Best be ready for round 2. As if echoing the sergeant's words, alarms suddenly blared throughout the space station. Dr. Sato's eyes widened as she saw the reason on a nearby screen. A massive Zarkol fleet, far larger than the first, had just entered the solar system. Ambassador Zaxlor's eyes swirled faster, a sign Dr. Sato had learned indicated surprise or agitation. This is not our doing, the alien said, its voice filled with what seemed like genuine confusion. Dr. Sato's mind raced. Was this a ploy? A faction of the Zarkul acting on its own? Or was there something else at play here? As both delegations rushed to contact their respective commands, one thing became clear: the diplomatic dance was over. Whatever came next would determine the fate of both their species. The next phase of the war for Earth was about to begin. Chaos erupted on the space station as both human and Zarkul delegations scrambled to understand the sudden appearance of the massive alien fleet. Dr. Emily Sato's eyes darted between the approaching ships on the screen and the agitated form of Ambassador Zaxlor. "I swear by the stars, we did not order this," Zaxlor insisted, its purple eyes swirling in distress. "This is the work of the war faction. They seek to overthrow our emperor and expand our empire by force." Before Dr. Sato could respond, a transmission cut through the confusion. A new Zarkul face appeared on the screen, its eyes a burning red instead of purple. "I am Warlord Kaznar," the new alien announced, its voice harsh and grating. "The time for talk is over. Surrender your planet or face annihilation." In that moment, Dr. Sato made a decision that would change the course of the war. "Ambassador Zaxlor," she said quickly, "if you're telling the truth, then we face a common enemy. Will you stand with us?" Zaxlor hesitated for a moment, then nodded firmly. "The war faction threatens all we believe in. We will fight beside you." Back on Earth, General Sarah Chen watched the situation unfold with growing alarm. The new Zarkul fleet was twice the size of the first, bristling with weapons that made the earlier attack look like a mere skirmish. "All defense systems to maximum," she ordered, her voice steady despite the pressure. "And get me Admiral Cruz. We're going to need every ship we've got." Across the planet, humanity prepared for the fight of their lives. In Australia, Private Jack Thompson and his unit manned their railguns, eyes locked on the sky. In hidden bunkers, scientists like Dr. Sato's colleagues worked feverishly to squeeze every ounce of power from their technology. The battle began with a blinding flash as the war faction fleet opened fire. Energy beams lanced down from space, slamming against Earth's protective shields. The planet's surface trembled under the onslaught. But humanity was not alone. True to their word, Zaxlor's faction of the Zarkul joined the fight, their ships engaging their own kind in vicious space combat. Admiral Jenna Cruz led Earth's space fleet in a daring counterattack. Human ships, now joined by allied Zarkul vessels, darted between the massive enemy cruisers, striking with precision and withdrawing before the war faction could retaliate. On the ground, the scene was just as intense. War faction dropships breached the atmosphere, deploying troops in major cities. But they found no easy conquest. Instead, they faced a prepared and determined human resistance. In New York, robotic defense units engaged the alien invaders in the streets. In Tokyo, energy shields flickered around buildings, deflecting alien weapons fire. And in Cairo, a hidden electromagnetic pulse weapon activated, disabling a whole squadron of alien fighters. Private Thompson found himself in the thick of the fight when a war faction ship managed to land near his position. As alien troops poured out, he and his unit held the line, their advanced weapons proving more than a match for the invaders. "Remember your training," Thompson shouted over the din of battle. "We've prepared for this. Show them what humanity can do." In orbit, Dr. Sato worked frantically alongside Zaxlor, using the space station's systems to coordinate the combined human-Zarkul defense. Their unique perspectives and knowledge, human ingenuity, and Zarkul experience proved to be a powerful combination. Hours stretched into days as the battle raged on. The war faction's initial advantage of surprise and numbers began to wane in the face of the defenders' determination and preparation. Finally, after a week of non-stop combat, the tide began to turn. The war faction fleet, battered and depleted, began to retreat. On Earth, the remaining invaders found themselves surrounded and outgunned. As the last enemy ships fled the solar system, a cheer went up around the world. Humans poured into the streets, celebrating their victory alongside their new Zarkol allies. In the GDI command center, General Chen allowed herself a small smile. "We did it," she said softly. "We actually did it." But even as the celebration began, Chen knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy now knew of Earth and its strength. More challenges would come, but humanity had proven itself ready to face whatever the universe might throw at them. As the sun rose on a scared but unbroken Earth, one thing was clear. Humanity's warning had been heard across the stars. They were ready, they were waiting, and they would never back down. The sun rose on a changed Earth. Cities bore the scars of battle, but amid the rubble, a new spirit of unity and purpose blossomed. Humans and friendly Zarkol worked side by side, rebuilding what was lost and forging a path to a shared future. In the months following the Great Battle, Earth buzzed with activity. The Global Defense Initiative, once a secret organization, now operated openly, coordinating the planet's recovery and continued defense. General Sarah Chen stood at the podium before the United Nations, her uniform adorned with new medals. "We have faced our greatest challenge," she began, her voice strong and clear. "And we have emerged stronger. But our journey is far from over." She gestured to Ambassador Zaxlor, who stood nearby, its purple eyes swirling with anticipation. "With the help of our Zarkol allies, we now take our place among the stars. The galaxy will know that Earth is not to be trifled with, but also that we seek peace and cooperation with those who respect us." The announcement that followed sent waves of excitement around the world. Earth and the peaceful faction of the Zarkol had signed a treaty, forming the Galactic Cooperative Alliance. This new organization would seek to promote peace and mutual defense among species, with Earth as a founding member. Dr. Emily Sato found herself at the forefront of this new era. Her expertise in both human and Zarkol technology made her invaluable in the exchange of knowledge between the species. In a lab that blended human and alien design, she worked tirelessly to unlock new scientific wonders. "Imagine," she said to her team, "a mix of humans and Zarkol. With our combined knowledge, we could solve problems that have plagued both our species for centuries. Clean energy, disease prevention, faster than light travel. The possibilities are endless." Meanwhile, Private Jack Thompson, now Sergeant Thompson, took on a new role. As part of the newly formed Galactic Peace Corps, he traveled to other worlds, helping species who had suffered under the war faction's aggression. On a distant planet, as he helped local aliens rebuild their homes, Thompson reflected on how far humanity had come. "A year ago, I never dreamed I'd be standing on an alien world," he mused to a fellow human officer. "Now look at us, peacekeepers of the galaxy." But it wasn't all smooth sailing. The war faction, though defeated, was not destroyed. Reports came in of their ships raiding distant colonies. Earth and its allies remained vigilant, always ready to defend against any threat. Admiral Jenna Cruz, now commanding a fleet of hybrid human Zarkol ships, patrolled the edges of known space. "We're not just defending Earth anymore," she told her crew during a briefing. "We're defending the principles of freedom and self-determination for all species. Stay sharp out there." As Earth's influence grew, so did its responsibilities. The planet became a beacon of hope for oppressed species across the galaxy. Refugees sought shelter there, bringing with them new cultures, ideas, and technologies that enriched human society in unexpected ways. In schools across the planet, children now studied xenobiology alongside human history. In parks and public spaces, it wasn't uncommon to see humans and various alien species mingling, sharing stories, and forming friendships. 1 year to the day after the Great Battle, a ceremony was held at the newly constructed Galactic Peace Memorial in Geneva. Representatives from a dozen species gathered to commemorate the lives lost and celebrate the peace won. General Chen, Dr. Sato, Sergeant Thompson, Admiral Cruz and Ambassador Zaxlor stood side by side as a monument was unveiled. It depicted figures of various species standing united, with a simple inscription at the base. In unity, we find strength. In diversity, we find wisdom. As the crowd cheered, Chen leaned over to Sato. "Did you ever imagine it would turn out like this?" she asked quietly. Sato smiled, her eyes on the stars just becoming visible in the evening sky. "No," she admitted, "but I can't wait to see what happens next." The galaxy had indeed heard humanity's warning. Earth had proven itself ready and waiting not just for war, but for peace, for progress, for a future brighter than anyone had dared to dream. As night fell on Earth, its cities glowed with a new light, a beacon of hope shining out into the cosmos, inviting new friends and daring any enemies to try their luck against a united galaxy. The adventure, it seemed, was just beginning.